Hi, I've got a replay here for us to discover. It's been quite a few days since I played this, so I'm not quite sure exactly what happened. I just remember it was a really good game, it was back and forth and everything. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it and discover what happens. So this is a Red Comet match, and on this map, let's go over our starting build. So first we always go 2 mechs, 1 solar, and then a Cobalt lab. We'll be mostly spamming first fleas and then peewees, and then transition, I believe, into a Roko push. Yeah, so this is my build order here. Mixing some construction workers in between, and some peewees, and finally we'll go into the Rokos, and don't forget some resin there. All right, and I know I just want to go over the usual gameplay and what I usually do and how I play the game. Um, Now here I'm surrounding an LLT with solars in the lab this way. If they do come with like a good little amount of AKs or PVs, the LLT can still defend all by itself, and it can cover the entire base just with a single LLT. So I can walk my comm and I don't have to look back at my base. So I send out my fleas, I put a large queue for my commander, and this way I can micromanage my fleas without actually having to worry about my base. I can keep my focus on the attack, and this is really an important part, is making sure that you have your attention, that you're able to put your attention where it needs. This way, yeah, you can do more with the same amount of units, right? So ideally you want some mexes. And for example, this mech here with the LLT facing the other way, it gives the fleet just enough time to squeeze right in between, right behind the mechs. And the mechs cannot shoot right behind the building. Alright, see the base here is secure, put some PVs out. Avoid the LLTs. Nothing here. See, this is a super safe base by Snoopy, but it's a long build time for and walk time for his base. And then here he's defending with PVs, but he's attacking somewhere else, so he's not paying attention where I'm attacking him. So PVs for defending is fine, but you have to keep always an eye on your base, which can be quite time consuming. Alright, and then here I'm expanding down the south. Notice I don't have anything to defend there, so it is vulnerable for attack, but you cannot be super safe. If you just go everywhere only where you have LLTs and you don't have anything else, expanding anywhere else, that will just delay you so much, and you just have to take some risks. You just have to be alright with the small possibility of you getting harassed somewhere else, and that's alright. Even if you lose the mechs and even if you lose the construction unit, it's a calculated risk. Here we notice the radar, how useful a radar is, knowing exactly where the enemy is going to attack and prepare yourself. Here, if my ally didn't have built a radar, I wouldn't be able to know, and he could have attacked me anywhere and me not being prepared for it. But looks like this is a standard opening for a game. Each build our PVs and AKs and push towards the middle with our commanders. Nothing extraordinary happening here. Alright, always make sure you have a queue keep going for your commander, so if there's an urgency anywhere else, if you have to react to something really quickly, your commander's not idling, not doing anything. Alright, ally commander under attack, let's go rescue him. Oh my goodness, this is bad. This is really bad. Like, because I sent my whole army there to defend him. I lost my whole army. He lost his whole army. We have 2,500 metal out there in the middle of really close by the enemy. My commander is way too far. This looks like game over. They can just easily take this metal. So this looks like game over already. Let's see what happens here. The enemy has a way larger army. This isn't looking very good at all. So here what I'm doing is I'm bringing his army back. I'm distracting him. Even if I lose some, it keeps him busy elsewhere. Alright, my queued up Rocos are coming out.
You are overflowing energy.
And the enemy also has built Rocco, so this will be a Rocco war. And I'm expecting to get a good amount of metal from the reclaiming. If we don't reclaim anything from there, it's game over anyway, so I'm assuming we will reclaim the metal and already prepared to build a vehicle lab to transition into vehicles. Oh, the ally built
low power.
Killed the enemy commander. That's very, very good. That's a big blunder on the enemy. Right, here again the flash usually destroy Rocos. This is usually really bad. However, they're not microed, so they all kind of die. And here there's a lot of pressure. They're pushing in a lot on our side. And you can't lose morale. You just have to keep going. Even if you suspect you're about to lose, just keep playing and you never know what's going to happen. Alright, my construction unit survived. I just have to scrape by the little metal I find around. They're not focusing on getting that metal, which is really, really good for us. That allows us to stay in the game somewhat. Here he's reclaiming the remains of the first commander here. So because of the explosion, the first commander got halved of its original 2,500 metal, and now I'm able to start pumping out stumpies. That's
low power.
And here the enemy is not putting too much pressure onto us. They're doing it, but slowly enough that it gives us time to recuperate. And here I'm going to lose my econ, but it's alright. Just try and get as much metal as possible. Here the entire south is collapsing. It's alright. I'm just gonna lose those maxes. I already know it. I have to focus elsewhere. I can now defend both this and the south, so I have to pick my battles. And I'm already queuing up LLTs in my base, knowing that eventually those flash are gonna arrive down into my base. So this way I don't even have to look at it. I can just focus on my front, and the back of my base is safe. Here I don't want to stay too close to the commander, I don't want to be decant, so I don't have many units already. Try and always keep your guys occupied, everyone moving.
You are overflowing energy.
And even if you have few units, even if the enemy has more units than you even, you should try and apply pressure, see what your enemy reaction is, so your enemy never feels like he can just kick back and build up somewhere else or do something else. You have to keep up the pressure, keep up the enemy moving and thinking about what he's going to do. You want the enemy to react. You want the enemy to do something because you're doing something. This means they won't be able to do their own thing that they want to do in the first place. And yeah, Stumpies are really good against LLTs. Basically, the first phase with the Cobots makes the enemy build loads of LLTs, and then you switch to Stumpies, and the LLTs are quite useless against those Stumpies. So here we're still running on the extra metal that we got from earlier. So this is gonna run out eventually, but thankfully the enemy keeps running into us, giving us more metal to keep sucking. So basically, here at this point, them attacking us without doing significant amount of damage is good for us because it allows us to keep building units, and we're losing some units, but we're building them faster than we're losing them, and they're giving us metal. So this is actually starts to look good for us. They haven't put enough pressure for us to lose out. They haven't done any economical damage, and here it's good not to go too far. You know, you can be tempted to move in the Stumpies into the enemy base, but then you start feeding them, and then they start recuperating from your metal. So best not to keep your army too far, unless you feel like you actually you're absolutely going to lose if you don't. For example, you're quite certain the enemy is teching or something like that. Then you can actually go for an all-in, and here going in the dark is quite dangerous. We saw his commander was there not too far, and yeah, there he is. He's decanning so many Stumpies, and boom, we lose most of the Stumpies only for a commander. That's totally not worth it. So that was quite a bad move, but looks like the enemy is not able to capitalize on it. Here, orange, we don't see units from him. We haven't seen units from him for quite a while. Here we can assume he's stacking. This is quite dangerous, and we need to do something about it as soon as possible, because if we just let him be and don't attack and go somewhere else, he'll come back with Tech 2 units, and there we go. Tech 2 unit detected. Alright. Luckily he's only got one unit, he's not microing very well. We have to do significant damage here to make sure he cannot, well, one, like, suck or Rex and get back into it, and use that to build Tech 2 units. So build power, removing the build power is quite crucial. Reclaim some of the map, because we can't rely on Rex anymore, because we're fighting on the enemy's territory, so now we need to get metal from the map. I feel quite confident with the defense of our base. I try. His bulldogs are out in front, so he can move towards the side. Just keep the pressure up. And here we have to do economical damage, make sure he cannot build up faster than we destroy it, so that otherwise these Stumpies are just a donation of metal to the enemy. So this is quite a dangerous run, because if we just lose those Stumpies, this is going to take the metal and build bulldogs with those, so we have to make sure that whatever damage we do is more than what they get. Alright. Now, the good part about this is that the enemy defends with bulldogs, and bulldogs do area of effect damage, so he cannot defend from this without actually destroying his own base. So there we go. So the base is destroyed. That gives us a lot of time. He's not gonna come back with loads of units for quite a while now, so we're not too much in a rush ourselves to go Tech 2. We don't have any metal anyway, and it would take way too long to have an effect on the map going Tech 2. So we're gonna stay pushing Stumpies and hope that this can be enough. The other two now have not been doing anything, so that's suspicious now that they're taking up. So we have to see what they're up to, and yeah, sure enough, there they are. They've tacked up.
You are overflowing energy.
I hear him hesitating, do I go in or not with his blade wings,
Your
but
whole team is wasting energy.
it looked too strong. He had AA as well. That didn't seem viable. So now we have some metal, and now is a much better time to tech up. Now that we have a small reserve of metal, it'll go faster. We have more of the map as well. Our allies attacking the south, that's really good. And let's reclaim some metal as much as we can. So both the enemies have teched up, like all three enemies have teched up. We had some
Your
extra
whole team
metal.
is wasting energy.
We didn't have a choice. Continuing to put out Stumpies then would have not been efficient against their tech 2, so we have to do something here.
You are overflowing energy.
So the small reserve, the metal we're gonna get here, plus the reclaiming of the first lab should be enough for us just to finish. So here we don't want to stall while building the Tech 2 lab. So that the Tech 2
Your whole
lab
team is wasting
finishes just with us almost at 0. Right. Ideally we would have built advanced solars, but we didn't really have much opportunity to do so. Here scouting lets us know exactly what the enemy is up to. They're not doing anything super weird, so we don't have to feel rushed to attack straight away. But oh no, he's gonna bomb them. That's pretty much game over. They're not pressuring us. We have map control, and
low power.
by the time, even if they were to push now, by the time they get to our base, we have enough units to defend. So that's all good. Yeah, here my ally is taking care of everything just by himself.
Low power.
Here I didn't need to build a Tech 2 con actually. I'm trying to get Tech 2 maxes, but as you can see I have loads of metal and I mostly need energy, and just making straight bulldogs would have actually been better here. Because now I'm already late to the party and my ally is just killing them. Alright, well, that was a good back and forth game.
Low power.
Advanced solars are good here, but if you don't have any energy production, since they cost a lot of energy, it takes a long time to for them to start giving back, since you need energy to build them. So
Low power.
building regular solars when you have lots of metal is actually a good idea. Hiding my commander here in the crater just to be sure. Doesn't mean he can't help. So as you saw, even though we waited until we had some reserve of metal, we have very few units on the map. This was still a quite slow transition because we were lacking energy. I like if the enemy was pushing with Tech 1 units here, we would have a lot of trouble defending this. So perhaps I should have still built a bit more Tech 1 and built a lot more energy and only then transitioned. See, I have 3000 metal, that's just extremely wasteful.
You are overflowing energy. Your pontoon is wasting energy. You are overflowing energy.
Alright, and yeah, that was the game. Don't hesitate if you have any questions or if you want to see more of these, put down a comment, and yeah, thanks for watching. Let's look at the explosion. Boom. Right. Cheers, everyone.